Morning.
Morning.
I'll go on mute and hopefully some of the others will turn up.
So we are live streaming now.
Thank you very much, Patricia.
Thank you. Kristen was just setting all of that up. So.
How are you today, Vivian?
Actually, pretty good. How about you, Sal?
Pretty good.
Oh, turn my phone off.
Yeah, I just did. I think I just had a
And-
call, so that might have been on there. But
I'm going to disappear and put my sweet dog in her pen downstairs because I see a deer on the other side of the yard.
Can you hear me? I can't hear you. Audio.
Hear you? Not real loud.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
I can hear you now. Thank you. And thanks for the email this morning.
Yeah.
Hi, Lori. We are live streaming already. I just wanted to let you know.
Okay, thanks.
So I did look at our terms of reference and a quorum is 4. Right, Kristen?
Correct. Yes.
One more.
And we do have regrets from Barb, but as far as I understand, Jackie and Karen should be there. Is Karen?
And
It's not
Melanie is attending by phone this morning.
Great.
Not by video. And
Welcome,
I am-
Melanie.
I am admitting her right now. She's the telephone.
Got it.
Hi there.
Good morning,
Hello.
Melanie.
Morning, Melanie.
Good morning. My apologies, power outage.
Well, you are forgiven for that one. Now, can you see the screen, Melanie?
I cannot. We tried
Oh.
to connect our generator and anyway, the circuit breaker wasn't working, so we had to shut it down and tried to restart it, and then the power cord broke.
Oh,
So that didn't work. So I am on a landline talking to you. I can't see anything. But we have managed to connect a battery to connect my internet, so I should be able to get email on my phone as long as I, or my laptop, as long as I go with my battery backup. But that's just going to take a little bit to boot up and get going.
oh my. Well, then I'll let you know that we have, of course, Kristen and Patricia from the SLRD, but also Lori Hopful, a District of Lillooet counselor, and Karen Playfair, who is Sal Demers alternate for Area A, and Sal and myself. So 4 of us being a quorum, we're hoping that Jackie will turn up. We'll give it a
Okay,
couple
well,
minutes.
that sounds great. Thank you. I wish I could see you all. Maybe next time.
Well, welcome. I'll go on mute. We'll just give Jackie a couple minutes. How's
Okay,
that?
I'll go *6, which should mute me.
Well, hopefully you won't be like Russell where you get muted and then you can never come back. I can see that you're muted, so that's good. All right.
So can you hear me now?
Yes, indeed.
Okay, so that works just fine. Thanks.
Excellent.
Sorry, I seem to be having some technical issues myself this morning. It might be operator error. I was trying to move so I wasn't in and out of shadow, but now oh, it's too much. It's too much.
So, Chair, would you like to deal with the next NEDIC meeting as a director's report, or we don't really have we don't have a chair's report, but do you want to deal with it there?
Yes, please.
Okay.
And I know Lori in particular was hoping that we would have our scheduled meetings for 2021, but we can't do that, Lori, until the board meetings get set, and then all of us lowly committee meetings fall out after that and around that. So that at our next meeting, which will likely be January, we will set the year's meeting at that point.
Okay, is there kind of a general ruling of it's the first Thursday of every month, or is that just coincidence so far?
You know, we went around in the sort of second Thursday
Second
is
Thursday
kind of where it fell.
of every second month, right? It's actually every second month.
It's 4 to 6 meetings a year. So my wish would be that we schedule the 6 and cancel if we need to,
Okay.
so that we have them penciled in. But let's see what staff think and where we're at once the grand board schedule is set.
Fair enough.
And that will be a discussion at the next meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, Jackie. I just wanted to let you know that the telephone that you see is our new CAO, Melanie Helmer. She's attending by telephone today.
Okay,
So
sounds good.
that's the missing box there.
Okay. Hi, Melanie.
Good morning, Jackie.
Hello.
Thank you all for joining. And I will call the meeting to order, recognizing that collectively we're on the unceded territories of all the First Nations within our regional boundaries, in this case, the Northern St'át'imc. And I would like a motion to approve the agenda, please. Moved by Sal, seconded by Jackie. In favor, now you don't have to hold up your hand if you're in favor, you just have to hold your hand up if you're opposed. Feel free to pipe up if I'm not seeing your hand. Okay, motion to adopt the agenda is approved. And then we have special staff report, item 3.1. Kristen, do we need to read this, or would you like to say something here?
No, unless you want me to, and I think you can just, I can read it, or you can just move it as shown on the agenda.
Okay, has everyone had a chance to look at that? Could I move it as outlined item 3.1 on the agenda, request for decision resolution required pursuant to ministerial order number M192. I'll move that. Jackie's holding up her hand to second. All in favor, opposed, carried. And so the next item is the consent agenda. And the only item on the consent agenda is our minutes from the last meeting. And I certainly looked them over. Could I have a motion to approve those minutes? Moved by Sal Demare. Seconded by Jackie. All in favor, opposed, those minutes are approved. Business arising from the minutes. I believe it's just our action plan that we'll be looking at. Staff reports is item 6. And Kristen, I will just ask then that we move to the working document. And we do have the ability to share this on the screen so that any amendments or tweaks that the committee wants to make, we can make during this meeting and approve it. And I think that will be efficient. First of all, thank you very much, Patricia and Kristen. I know that you spent considerable hours bringing this up and incorporating all our previous changes. I like how it looks. The print's a little bit small on my big screen here, but could we just move then to looking at the first page, 1.0, collaboration and partnerships, and see what kind of changes we've got or amendments, and just look at it page by page? Is everyone good with that? Okay.
Vivian, I have a question.
Go ahead, Jackie.
We're just doing some spot checks, and then are we concentrating on timing and lead today?
Or priorities?
So I believe that the timing will lead to our priorities. So we're making sure that everyone's good with how the timing and designated, are designated for each of the actions, and then making sure the leads are good, and then sorting it so that we get some priorities based on timing. Yes.
Spock, that sounds quite logical.
Okay. I just had one comment as we move forward in the timing piece, is that I noticed the new updated document has something called ongoing. And I just want to point out that in the original document provided by Suzanne Denbeck, there were only 3 categorizations: immediate, short-term, and long-term, and they have specific definitions. And I believe that ongoing was something Vivian and I discussed as it would fall under the long-term piece, because it says it's an action to be initiated within the next 2 to 5 years as directed by typical planning cycles and available resources, measurable results desired with the next 5 to 10 years, which I think captures the ongoing quite well. So I would suggest that as we decide, we should keep it to 3, immediate, short-term, and long-term, and anything that's ongoing in that section, we just change it to long-term. So if we need so that's what I'm.
Hey, what do people think about that? So if we're looking at the first one, 1.0, and then moving over to 1.1a, support ongoing cultural awareness to establish and maintain relationships with Stallion. That's certainly ongoing. So you're suggesting we should make that as a long-term, Jackie?
I think that, well, it depends on what people want. In my opinion, that should be, yes, that should be long-term. Although it should be a very high priority. So it could be argued that it is immediate, but I like the long term better for this one because it means that it's everywhere.
This is Sal. It's a good conversation because I think if we just keep it to what it was originally short term, and then I think Patricia, you got control on the document. You could scroll over a bit on the columns. Okay, right where percent completed is. I think if we could put ongoing there, but I was talking to Vivian, and what I've done in the past with documents like this is use colors, and we could use the colors in that percent completed, and the colors could designate what percent completed. So 0 to 10, 10 to 50, 50 to 75, and then above that, 75 to 100. Because then that gives you an idea of where we're at with these different projects. And we could actually have another column called ongoing, or another color ongoing, so that everybody knows. You can quickly look at this document and you can see where we're at with the ones that we're actually working on, ones that we haven't started yet, you just leave them blank, and with no color. And above this document, above the line 1, add another line and document the colors, what they mean. So anybody looking at it can see where we're at. It's a very visual and easy to understand where we're at with these projects. And if you want to add an actual percent on it, you can, just put that percent in, but keep that color scheme so that you're aware. What do people think about that?
Hey, I see Jackie, you have your hand up.
I like that idea, and I also because I'm a visual person, and I like the idea of having us be able to group that as well. And just looking at process today and where we want to get to, I suggested that we were gonna, based on my memory, we were going to try to get to the lead organization, and there's some great things basically from E to the further to the right. But I wonder, so yes, I fully agree with how I like the idea what Sal is proposing, but to take a step back on what we're going to accomplish for today, is it possible, and what do people think about just doing the timing so that we can sort it and see what comes out as immediate and then deal with the organization lead, rather than trying to do both at the same time and just get to, because we could probably see where the immediates fall out and then start to go through the lead organization after, or do we want to do this together? So I'm sorry to be hooked on process here, but I'm really keen on getting something accomplished today.
Lori? I think you're
Sorry,
on.
it took me a minute to unmute there. So I just have a question. Can we, if we're just going to work on the timing today, which is fine, can we, under those, can we put, instead of putting long-term, like you said, Jackie, if you put long-term, then it means that we're kind of not doing it right now, but we will maybe in the future. And I noticed that a couple of these have intermediate and long-term. So could we not use short-term, intermediate, and long-term so that you know that we're working on it in the short-term and in the intermediate and the long-term? Just a suggestion, but.
Sorry, I'm not even, I was fooling with my screen here, and So Lori, are you, sorry, say that again so that I didn't understand it.
So like Jackie was saying, if you use long-term, then it sounds like you're not dealing with something like cultural awareness now, but we're going to do it in the long term. And I noticed that some of these under timing have intermediate and long term. So could we not use multiple short term, intermediate, and long term as your timing? So you know, or a dash to it or whatever.
Jackie?
I think it might be useful to go through those definitions then and make sure that we're in agreement. Because basically what it says is, if we use the definition for this one in particular as an example with the support ongoing cultural awareness, the long term says the action is to be initiated within the next 2 to 5 years. So that, in my mind, with the First Nations piece, it should go back to immediate or short term, because it says immediate is the action to be initiated with an immediate priority with measurable results desired within 12 months. And short term is action to be initiated within the next fiscal year with measurable results in the next 3 years. So in my mind with First Nations, we want measurable results within 12 months. And I actually don't mind these definitions at all. I think they work. So the ongoing piece could just mean action to be initiated within the next 2 to 5 years. I think we have to be careful about ongoing. Yeah. Like, what does that really mean? Do we need to bring up the report to show the definitions and try to get some clarity around that first before we go on?
I think if we're going to make decisions and assign short, medium, and long term, then it might be helpful for everyone to look at those definitions. Is that possible, Patricia? She's probably frantically trying to find it in that report.
I do have it up if you want me to just share my screen quickly rather than Patricia being around. Do you want me to try?
Sure, that would be good, actually. I'm just because I'm working on a laptop and I'm not connected right now to my remote desktop at work. So
yeah. Okay.
Zoom is on the laptop. So
if you
that would be helpful.
If you unshare, then I will do my best to see if I can share. Okay, here we go. So this is page 29 of that report that Suzanne gave us.
So that should be copied and added to our action plan as an explanatory note for what we mean by those terms. Yeah, I see Patricia nodding. And maybe, just hold on to that, Jackie.
So Vivian, my question is are people still okay with these three, as this was what was intended for these action items by Suzanne? And how would we address, if we get ongoing? Yeah, go ahead, Sal.
I think in the short term there, where it's got 2020 and 21, it needs to change to 2021, 22. Because we haven't really started yet. So to me, the initial 12 months starts, you know, where we're at right now. I think it starts next year. So the immediates are for next year.
That's a good point, Sal. And I think
And I'm good with what this is.
all right. So we'll cut and paste those into this plan for the reference for future, just so that it's there. And we'll just work with does anyone have a problem with these definitions? Okay,
I think while we're doing this, if, you know, that's going to go above the document, that Excel spreadsheet, is that later today that we identify the colors we want to use, and actually, if we could come up with an agreement on the different percentages for the colors. That way, you know, it could be some homework for us to go back and then start looking at some of that stuff and thinking about that whole concept of what each, because there's so many that are being worked on right now, you know, and we need to start that process. Because I keep on looking at this document and where are we? We have no clue where we're at. So we need to somehow come to grips with it. I mean, we could, you know, knowing the process that we have to have everything live streamed and able to go to the public, I think it's something that maybe near the end of this meeting, we can do that. So we can start thinking about where are we at with the things that are on this document. That's my thoughts.
okay, thank you. And I think you and Jackie are both trying to get to the same place of trying to have something that's measurable and visual, and to help make us accountable. What I was seeing is there's a heck of a lot that needs to be added to the actions taken column. Well, under this one somewhere, I think the feasibility study for the Cultural Awareness Center, let me see. Well, just the fact that we're funding Area B just contributed $15,000 towards the feasibility study that Tribal Council is conducting on the Cultural Center. That is an action that probably should be listed towards showing some support. But yes, Patricia.
I'm just, if we're, Jackie, if we're finished with this bit, I don't know if we are or not, but I can't, there we go. Now I can share my screen again so we can, thanks.
And I think we're all in agreement on those definitions for short, medium, long, yeah, okay. And so assigning for number 1, rather than ongoing, what timing category would you like to see here? Jackie, now I do have I should tell you guys, I have a problem because as soon as we start screen sharing, I just have a few of your faces on the right rather than all of you, just the way the screen's set up. Sal is closer to the top, and et cetera. So you might just have to pipe up if I don't see your hands, okay? Jackie.
Kristen, do you want to go first?
Thank you. Chair, if you hover your mouse, you should be able to see, you should see a drop down arrow there at the bottom, and then you'll be able to scroll down to the rest of the people, if that's helpful.
I can do that for sure. Thank you. It's
You're
just that I can't see all of you at the same time, so I will miss hands, but I did see Jackie's. So help me out with that. Thanks.
I'll throw an idea out for this one, given that it says support ongoing cultural awareness to establish and maintain relationships with Statlium. I feel like staff and Vivian and Sal might have some more awareness over this, given that the SLRD is the lead, but my understanding since Jeanette has been gone, it's been fairly low support on the cultural awareness side and the relationship building. So I would say that I'm going to throw it short term for this one, which is, and I'll just keep repeating the definitions if you guys want me to, but actions initiated within the next fiscal year with measurable results desired within the next 3 years. So I feel like immediate is might be a little bit too much within the 12 months, but I feel like short term, initiate within the fiscal year, which would be 2021, 2022, and then measurable results within the 3 years.
That's good with me. Anybody else? And is that applicable to? No, okay, we'll keep going. It certainly applies to the next one though, right?
This one, sorry, it's Jackie. This one says complete. Is that because this committee is what people are saying? Is because this one says with SLRD, District of Lillooet, BVR CA staff and participating along with blah, blah, blah. So is that how we're defining NEDIC? Just say yes if it is.
Create a Northern SLRD Economic Development Working Group with SLRD District of Lillooet and Sal. What do you think about the rest of this?
Well, yeah, we don't have that. We've got little side committees working on it. I mean, that's where we're at with it. Because the BRVCA Economic Development Committee is doing, having sessions with some of the Northern Statlium communities, and even in one in the south. So, but as a region, we with Lillooet and so on and so forth, we haven't got that. So I think it's another short-term one.
Okay. And do you guys think that we should add the fact that feasibility study is happening for the cultural center? Or is that not something that belongs here?
I've seen it farther down.
Okay. Okay. Keep going. Okay, so for numbers 1.1C, I don't think we should develop a COVID economic recovery plan. I think we should participate in it as a change in wording. And I sort of think we're already doing that as far as we can.
Yes, and that's actually happening in the with Community Futures. It's one of these ones that's taking place.
Should Community Futures be added there as one of the organizations?
Yeah. I think Lillooet has a coordinator through the funding stream, and Area A and Area B are all part of this. And that's Community Futures in it's Sun Country Community Futures out of Ashcroft.
So then just take the question mark away, and I think probably Patricia's already done that. And okay, what about, do you want to just look at how about the rest of the page here? Are the priorities good? Is immediate too soon, like 1.1D?
I think 1.1D is long-term.
I agree. And the next one is what we're all working on. Short list of priority action items for implementation, right? Okay. And the next one is similarly what we're trying to do currently, correct? And for 1.1G, report regularly to elected representatives. Well, does this mean our minutes go to the board, or? Is that a sufficient reporting? Yeah, Jackie, just pipe up because it's.
Yeah, I was just wondering, does this, we're just reporting on this, like this, the action items that are here, right? So we would just be updating them as the meetings occur, and we get an updated version of this as to the colors that are represented by percentage completed, correct? So yeah, so this would be, it probably will be immediate, won't it?
Yes.
Or short term says action to be initiated within the next fiscal year with measurable results desired within the next 3 years. So maybe it's more applicable to have desirable results over within the next 3 years with initiation in the next fiscal. I'm just thinking, because I think often like a staff person, but does that make sense, Patricia and Kristen?
This is Sal. I think if we leave it immediate, I'm fine with it. But when we come to the percent completed, it could be that the ongoing color, because it's going to be ongoing forever, right?
Okay.
As we keep moving forward, we could share what this document once we get it back and approved with like the BRVCA, with the various First Nations communities, and all the different partners that we have.
Okay.
Okay, sounds good.
And 1.1H. Oh, pursue the annual grant writing program with NDIT. We're doing that. So
It's short term and in the other column, ongoing, right?
That's in the works.
Yeah.
Sal, you keep keeping track of the other column. Okay. And 1.2A. Oh, okay. The burden of approval processes, et cetera. Long-term with periodic updates from SLRD and District of Lillooet. Are people comfortable with that? I see Melanie on. Welcome, Melanie. I guess everyone has their names underneath them, so I don't have to introduce you, but it's nice to see you on the screen. We're trying to move through item 1. Okay. I'm inviting comments on 1.2A. Nope, nope. And leave it long-term. Okay. So the next one. We're still on collaboration partnerships, 1.3A. The Small Micro Business Resource Center in Lillooet to offer guidance, mentoring, navigation, et cetera. We need high-speed internet for this one.
I think it's long-term.
Long-term. Okay. And the next one, shared water, sewer, and other services. Can we leave that as long-term as well?
Yes.
So 2, access and transportation. So this first one has immediate and long-term. Meet with the Ministry of Transportation staff to review upcoming capital and maintenance plans and provide input into the recurring problem areas. Sal,
Short-term and
to this
ongoing. Yeah, short-term and ongoing, and we're starting that process with our MLA, and she is going to be scheduling the meetings.
I just want to mention one thing too, just to keep in mind that as we move forward with this plan, these timings definitely move along in the years as so say for instance, we evaluate after year 1, have we done all the immediates? And then we would say, no, actually we haven't. Should they be moved to a different timing, or should they be immediate for the next fiscal? So I feel like the ongoing, there will be ones that will remain immediate and remain as not completed because they are ongoing. So that's just sort of a point of that works in my brain as I think about designating timing, if that helps anybody else.
I think we just take the long term out of it and use our percentage colors to do it.
Okay.
So Sal, too, the ongoing, maybe we designate something annually, because meeting with transportation staff might be an annual meeting. But we're going to clarify kind of how that is, because the ongoing is something might be designated as ongoing, but we might have something as percentage. An annual meeting maybe that's in the notes or something. Okay.
Yeah, they're going to be quarterly meetings.
They're quarterly? Okay, there we go. Thanks.
So Sal, should we be adding the quarterly meetings as an action?
Yep. Well,
Meetings as needed are ongoing by SLRD and District of Lillooet. Did you want to change the wording on that?
Yeah, it could just, we could change to quarterly meetings
Okay,
rather than as needed.
thank you. CN Rail. First of all, to meet with CN Rail. Oh, yeah. To secure additional track time for the Combs shuttle service, enhance frequency and reliability, continue to advocate for passenger rail service from Vancouver to Lillooet and beyond. I don't think that should be listed as short term. Comments?
Oh, we missed one, Vivian.
Oh,
2.1B.
sorry, back up. Thank you. Ministry of Forest, Lands, Natural Resource Operations staff. Now, this is specific to the Hurley Forest Service Road. We have some other concerns. Do we want to make the wording in this one a little more general? So-
No, because it comes up later, I believe. So this one is specifically related to transportation.
Yeah, I think it's short term and it's going to change to 2021 in the actions.
Okay. Are you there, Patricia? Okay.
In the description, the action description. Yeah, it's got 2020, change it to 2021.
All right. Okay. Okay. You ready for the next one and the timing on that? (2.1C).
It looks good to me.
Do you like it short term?
Yeah, I think it works.
Okay. And you guys have to pipe up. Okay. 2.1D. Access issues and opportunity briefing note for use. Okay.
I think we need to do that for 2021. So change
We did that
date
already
to
for 2020.
Well, there were good discussions we had at those meetings.
We did have a
And
very good
I think
discussion.
we all learned a bit too.
And it was just a week before they called the election. But there's also ongoing improvements on the High Line Road, which people are really happy about. So I'm glad about that too. So we have met in September 2020, but we're going to plan to do the same thing again in 2021. Am I following you, Sal? Jackie?
Yes.
Okay.
I think the definition is actually short-term because the action that is long-term is initiated within the next 2 to 5 years. So you're going to initiate it in the next fiscal year with measurable results desired in the next 3 years. And that's within the term of the provincial government. So that's short-term.
Yep. Access and transportation, 2.1E, the Houston Community Public Shuttle. As you guys all know, that didn't run this year. However, something that could be added, there's also the OWL bus, OWL, OWL bus, run by the Friendship Center. So it's another public shuttle that could be added to 2.1E.
Vivian, is that is for sure run by it's not a private business?
She's working under the umbrella of the Friendship Center and taking clients for the Friendship Center. And I believe she's receiving some public funding, and also I've provided some support from Area B.
Okay, good to know.
It should be accessible to the public. I think mostly she's been providing services to vulnerable clients referred to her from the Friendship Center. It's just a tiny service, but it does have potential. And one community public shuttle hasn't operated in 2020, the Owl Bus has. So that's added. Thank you, Patricia. Are we leaving the timing where it is? Everybody okay with that? Do we want to make a note under actions taken and comments that the Houston Community Public Shuttle, it did not run in 2020? You did that already? Okay. If I seem like a dingbat, it's because I'm having trouble looking at papers, the screen, and all you guys at the same time. I'm not keeping up.
It's going fine.
Okay.
Don't worry, we'll help.
I rely on you to help. 2.1G. Support interior health bus accessibility and availability. We are certainly doing that. And I'm trying to be lobby for an extra day a week with interior health. So that's actually an action, sort of lobbying for a third day a week with interior health. And support the Lillooet Airport. Are we leaving that long term?
Yeah, is that something that is happening right now? Like maybe Lori knows whether that's things that happens every year, because actions to be initiated within the next fiscal, or is it to be initiated within the next 2 to 5 years? So is it short term or long term? So I thought we always always advocated for the airport to be ready to take the emergency stuff. So I thought it was short term.
We are working at the district. We had to dig up all the existing fuel tanks in underground. So that's being done right now. And so we are working at the Lillooet Airport for better services. I don't know about emergency services right now, because emergency services, in order to have, I know helicopters coming in and out at night transporting patients, would need lighting, and the lighting is hugely expensive. So because we have talked about that, but the airport is an ongoing, and it is happening right now as well.
Okay, so that falls under short term then.
Yes.
Okay, great. So then we, in the short term, change to timing, and then actions taken is fuel tank replacement, Lori, or fuel tank removal?
They are removing the existing tanks and putting them up above ground. So it's a replacement of a better, more,
yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so replace.
Happening right now.
Awesome.
And lighting, you need lighting. Is that right?
Love to have lighting. Don't see it ever coming. Like I said, it's really expensive, and we have looked into it before, and we've put it on the table before, and we just don't have the money for that. But I know that, there's always grants coming up, and we're always looking for certain, opportunities to improve what we have.
And so here's an example of the kind of things I think the committee can start to, sorry about the noise in the background. I'll mute myself.
I'll follow up. I think that is great to put in here with the actions taken, or at least a note somewhere, because I'd like to see this kind of a document go to our grant writer that are working on things so they can see the big picture. And yeah, so let's definitely keep those in the actions and comments.
I think that's great, because immediately Northern Development Initiative Trust as well as gas tax come to my mind for that. All right, broadband connectivity.
I'd like to just talk to this one a bit. The SLRD at our last board meeting, a director's report came out on bandwidth to see what the cost is to hire a consultant to look throughout the whole SLRD broadband and come up with a what each area has currently. So I think that needs to go on there. It's definitely a short term. I'm also on a Northern Broadband Committee that came out of the UBCM meetings, and with a bunch of other directors. It was started by a director in Horsefly. And the other, I think I'll just leave that one like that.
Yeah,
And it's short term.
sorry, there was a question there. Is that Kristen?
Thank you, Chair. Director Demare, are you okay if we put the SLRD as pursuing funding for a report?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Great. Just under the actions, Patricia, I see the service providers are listed and Shaw is missing.
Under the action, Patricia, I think, just go over. Not the action taken, the action to the other way. Yep. What should we call that? Action definition. Yeah, there.
Okay, 3.2A, meet with local service providers such as Minto Communications in the Bridge River to understand opportunities to enhance service. Short term, Sal. Should the Bridge River Community Association be added there?
No, it's mental.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, and there's things happening there too.
And 3.2B. Yes. Is that all correct and complete? And 3.2C. That's Minto again, Sal?
Well, that whole concept is staffing, right? And I know what they're working on is bringing in consultants. They're bringing another consultant that I'm doing a grant and aid at upcoming EAD meeting. And they're going to, that whole consultant is going to review their needs to move forward. That's towers, all their equipment, everything. So I think the key to that one is bringing in consultants.
Actions taken, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, Chair, can I?
Yes.
In the one above, 3.2B, the investigate grants, which is the second part of the pursuing of funding. So as an action taken, we could put that second part that the SLRD is investigating grant opportunities for just the second part of the board resolution from last week. If we just want to put that part, second piece in there.
Okay, so add it in under actions taken.
Yeah, I think what Patty has is perfect, just to keep it on the radar. Thank you.
Okay, and it's there. Great. 3.2C.
Yeah, we're good there.
Okay, so are we on to aesthetics?
No, 3.2D. I think that's, yeah, short term, it's good.
Okay. Anything you wanted to add? Okay, so Sal, are we on to 4 aesthetics?
Yep.
The Beautification Committee. I've just learned that the Beautification Committee is not a society. They've done a lot of amazingly good work in downtown Lillooet over decades. Is this immediate? Is that acceptable? Any comments? And additional funding in public-private partnerships for facade improvements. Short term, underneath actions, there are applications in the works for areas A and B with NDIT.
That's 4.1C, Vivian.
Okay, good. Okay, so Sal, you just said 4.1C.
That's, yeah, that's,
I'm looking at property tax incentives. I don't know how much. That's what you were trying to point out to me.
yeah.
Facade improvement is there.
So, yeah, so that, what we've got in the action for that one really,
Covers it.
well, it's about tax incentives, right?
Mm-hmm.
4.1C is tax incentives, so well, that is not really relevant.
No, it seems like that actions taken was more applicable to B versus C. Yeah.
I have to agree with that. Like it's, to me, it's two different things. The facade and the opportunity for property tax incentives.
And then
Okay.
Hi, it's Patricia. So I just added, I took that out from 4.1C, the NDIT. I think, I'll take the District of Lillooet one out as well. And then in the actions taken comments for 4.1B, I refer to the NDIT grant application, and I'll add facade improvement.
Thanks, Patricia.
Does that work?
Beautiful. Thank you.
Thanks.
And are we leaving the next one, opportunity for property tax incentives? So Lori, what do you think about that one? Owners invested in property improvements. Should we just leave that as stated, or what,
is that one short? Is that one actually long-term or action to be initiated within 2 to 5 years versus next fiscal?
Yeah, it's long term.
It is, yeah.
Hey, Lori, now I can see you, so I can see whether or not you're nodding or shaking your head.
Sorry, yes. Yeah, I just think with COVID and everything, like to put out our property tax incentives, it's just not the year that we're gonna do it.
Would long-term be more appropriate?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you.
Da-da-da-da, then we get to the next one that I'm super excited about, 4.1D, review landfill charges and community business partnerships to make cleanup more affordable, support the free store. So that can stay short term. And also an action item is that we are looking into the Clean BC organic grants. Now that's kind of the royal we. Lori Reimer and I have certainly been looking at it, and I'm hoping that we will be looking at it at the EAD meeting. I know we are, and hopefully we'll be taking some action on it. So there, just investigate the Clean BC Organics Grant Program. Is that fair to say?
Vivian, can I just ask if, are they going to bring back Free Dump Day?
I would like to suggest that we have a meeting maybe around the landfill and ask for staff to hear some input and tell us what's happening. For me, this is one where I think we've all got interests and different points of view. I think there's some room for improvement with our landfill. That would be one suggestion.
Could we also include Bridge River Band in that, as they have a contract with us to pick up garbage on at least half the town right now? Could we include them, or is that a different conversation?
I think that as we look over our list of the short term on this plan, that the landfill is going to sit as one of those things that I would like to see this committee do something with. Yes, that I agree with you.
And Vivian, without going down too far of a rabbit hole with this, we have to also remember that the SLRD has a solid waste management committee. So they would be obviously involved in making comments and giving some input. And I would assume that the COs and illegal dumping would also be included in that conversation. So we could keep ourselves fairly high level and let that committee do their work.
Kristen, would you like to comment? I'm not aware of the solid waste committee being active in the last year.
I am not sure what's happened in the last year with COVID,
Yeah.
but that would be a quick question for Angela.
Maybe we can just leave it as a question mark underneath the actions taken, then the SLRD Solid Waste Committee question mark. It's just something that we don't know about. But we're interested in. And I hear you, Lori. I just think that's a future conversation. As is the next one along the same lines, right? Comments? No?
So can I just comment on that one, Vivian? So what exactly does that mean? Review traffic calming measures through Lillooet. I have brought up, I don't know if this is relevant, but I have brought up to mayor and council about just the lighting over the crosswalks. It's, and we're looking into that. BC Hydro, or Ministry of Transportation is going to be looking into that. And they are doing a replacement with the lights that will be better, brighter, and yeah. So I'm just not sure. And that does kind of go with another previous one on Ministry of Transportation through Lillooet too.
And I just wanted to add too, in a recent, I think it was a Chamber of Commerce meeting where Kevin Taylor was presenting on the OCP, he also spoke to the fact that the long-term plans with the district is to do a downtown plan, right, Lori? And
That's
so,
correct.
yeah, so I would say that you could put in the comments that a downtown plan is in the future, and that could relate to these calming measures, because the downtown plan also addresses those sorts of things. Because Kevin talked about, like, he talked about parking and he talked about that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think this definitely stems from, you know, the fact that our highway goes right through the middle of our town, our downtown. So the downtown plan would probably wrap that all up in that piece.
Correct, but I still am pushing for the LED lights to be done before that downtown revitalization or whatever. They don't want to, you know, have to reinvent the wheel, you know, do something now to fix the lighting and then redo it again. But I still am hoping for better lighting over those crosswalks, because as we all know, things happen.
Yeah, right
And
on.
you cannot see those lights right now are like a soft yellow glow, and that's you just especially at dusk, I can't see.
Yeah, it makes sense. I think that relates to traffic and traffic calming measures, because they slow down when there's lighting that's there. So I think that's good to put in the actions taken.
Thank you.
And is that long term, or do you want to change that then, Lori, to short term?
You know, it's one of those things that I would like to see personally, the lighting changed in short term, right now, immediate actually.
Well,
but the whole revitalization has to really stay as it is.
Short term, though, does say action to be initiated within the next fiscal with measurable results desired in the next 3. So I think that fits what you're talking about.
Yep, we can do short term then. Yes. Okay. I'll keep you
And
posted.
also, this is being actively considered as part of the official community planning process, which is happening now.
Yes, and there's going to be Kevin's planning another couple of pop-up places where he can promote this official community plan. So he's going to go down to the mall one day and, you know, try and get everybody going in there, because we want everybody's opinion. We want the survey done. There's a survey that you can go online to on the district and say what is important to you. So I'm really promoting that at the hospital. So you guys promote it too.
I've certainly done the survey, and like hopefully every member of the committee has done the survey already. Also, just by the way, Lori, there's a winter carnival festival being planned for November 27th, and that might be a good pop-up opportunity for Kevin.
Oh, okay, I will tell him. Thank you.
Okay.
Well, this is Sal. On 4.28, couldn't you put that little piece into 4.2B, and then 4.28 talk about crosswalk safety? Just change it to crosswalk safety, and then you could put it immediate.
Or
I don't know.
How about this? Change it to pedestrian safety.
Yeah, sure.
I think though that traffic calming measures was pretty specific. I don't know. Yeah, it's up to
but couldn't you put that down into your like official community plan and so on and so forth? That's where it should be, so that everybody is in agreement with it. I'm just throwing that out. I mean, I'm not part of Lillooet, but
Patricia's got it. That sounds really good, Patricia.
Okay, what has Patricia written here? Yes. traffic calming translate, just slow down. We are being live streamed, so I'm, somebody probably almost got hit by one of those trucks. So it is short term? Yes. Okay. Anything else on that one? Karen, you're being pretty quiet. Okay.
Sorry, I was having trouble unmuting. Yeah, I guess there's just some of these things, and this is where, because I'm new to the game, some of the stuff seems to bleed really heavily into things that aren't necessarily economic initiatives. I get the pedestrian safety is, tangentially correlated with economic development. I mean, it's important that people don't get killed in crosswalks, otherwise you won't have an economy. But I just wonder if these are priorities for this committee, or they are priorities for health and safety committee, or public safety, whatever that committee is. I guess that was my only thought. We're spending a lot of time on things that seem to me to be less about economic development and more about other areas. But I also get that it all comes together. So that's all I would say about that.
Do you think then, Karen, that this will come out like between the lead organization or the team lead and the actions taken, that will start to filter some of those kinds of things out that are a little more on the periphery of the economic development, and they will just feed into our awareness, our overall awareness of what is being done? So given sort of like taking this as kind of like the kitchen sink wish list, and then we'll be able to use this to really nail it down.
Yeah, no, I totally get it. I just, I think that's probably true. When you start going through what the priorities are, you'll go, okay, well, these are priorities, but they maybe aren't priorities for us because there are other committees, other, staff are working on these things. But I just, I know we just have to go through the process. So that's why I'm just patiently going through the process.
Okay, got it.
Thank you. Yeah. We did try to list all of those things that were influential in terms of economic development, and we are trying to narrow it down to what we think are issues that we think we can be working on, and who's doing what in some of the other areas. So we'll get through this. And I think I can turn my page to 4.3a. Is that where we are?
Yes.
And there we have the reference to the official community planning process that's going on. Any comments on that?
I think it looks good.
Okay, thank you. We have something on 4.4a, the signage inventory of existing interpretive and wayfinding signs. Well, we don't have an inventory going, but under 4.4c, we are refreshing the Area B signage and adding some messaging about leave no trace. Yeah. Just to keep it short, that's happening.
I
What,
think, I think
about-
4.4A, I think it should be long-term.
okay. And what about 4.4B?
Well, I almost feel like 4.4B is an action within 4.4A. I mean, obviously, 4.4A is quite specific about signage inventory, but I guess once that inventory is there, then within that, you're going to identify priority signage needs. And maybe the whole thing needs to be broader, which is, and then there are actions to start with an inventory and then go to priority needs.
Yeah.
Couldn't it be combined? I think Karen's right. Usually the inventory's purpose is to create a priority list. And then your team lead or or maybe people to include would be the two organizations.
So just make 4.4A just one entry with those 1, 2, 3.
The BRVCA also has a very well-developed wayfinding signage. Just finished
Yeah.
doing a whole another set of them this summer.
So there's another action that's been taken, maybe in the comment section.
And the BRVCA could easily give you the all that data. I mean, we do have other operators that have signage up throughout our valley. There's lots of signage on Road 40. Kind of wayfinding signage, I guess you would call it, like for Tyax Lodge and Tyax Adventures and so on and so forth. But I think it's a long-term as a priority right now. I can't say that it is.
Sorry, it's Patricia. I just missed the action taken for that one.
The BRVCA has installed new wayfinding signage in the Bridge River Valley.
Sorry, guys, I was being completely stupid. I realized that was the action list. I gotta wake up.
No, it's difficult. It's difficult to watch the two screens and no problem, and all the columns. But I'm happy that Patricia's able to sort of put these changes in as we're going along, which is at least, I'm also aware that we're on page 4 or not even halfway through, and it's 10 to 12. So maybe just a pause here. Yes, Patricia.
Sure. I just made a change to that 4.4A. So is everyone good with that? Which then combines 4.4B into the one. But or do we want to go back to what we originally had? Sorry, I may have jumped the gun there. There was discussion around combining 4.4B into 4.4A, which I did, but now it sounds like maybe we want to go back to what we originally had. But
Yeah. I agree with that, because the first thing you need to do is do an inventory. What do we have? Then the next piece is what do we need? And then the last piece is, so I think A, B, and C are well laid out. So they're separate actions.
Agreed, and I was the one that wasn't paying attention and was trying to make everything more streamlined. But yes, they are definitely separate actions.
okay, great. That's easy enough to do. I just wanted to make sure I captured that correctly. We've now gone back to the original.
So I think if we take a look at the 3 timing, the first one should be short term and the last 2 should be long term. That's my take on it. Does everybody agree?
It's fine. Okay. I'm pausing here and I am looking at the time and I am looking at the fact that we're not halfway through. Like we've done 1 through 4 and we have 5 through, I think we go to 11. We, I don't think we're going to finish this by noon. And while we can have meetings to go for up to 3 hours, that's not what we scheduled for today. I
I
need to,
think we scheduled 2
Guys.
hours.
pardon me?
It's 2 hours till 12:30, today's meeting.
Okay. Just keep going. Okay, I see Jackie nodding. Kristen, is that okay with you? Yeah, all righty. Okay, so
I think the next one needs to be long-term, 5.1A.
I'd like to keep it short term. Because I think it's really needed, and especially with the staycationers this year. And just talking to the 5.1B below, the MOU with the memorandum of understanding that the PRVCHO committee had ended in June, and it was not re-signed. So, but it looks like there will be another agreement and will be extended to 4 years, another 4 years. So I think they both tie together, and it's important for our region. I know down farther, there's one for Sequoias, Trail Development Plan and 51C. The Shalath are also have hired a consultant, trail consultant, and they're looking at developing trails for mountain biking and hiking, so they can supplement the Littleton Hotel there once the BC Hydro contract is over. So there is a need for a trail strategy for the northern area. And I think it'll help everybody, Area B, Area A, and the First Nations. And of course, the Statlium will have to be involved in that.
I'm in full support of that, Sal. So if you want to leave it short term, knowing that
Yeah,
we're gonna sort this document and we're going to see how many things come out at short term and
Yeah.
what the capacity of the staff is to actually implement things like this.
Yeah.
So yeah, sounds good.
So Patricia, are you okay with that? It's short term, and then did you add some of the comments or some comments under actions?
I think the comment for me would be that the Northern Statlium communities to be involved.
Right. Okay, and Jackie's just stepping away for a minute. Does anyone else need a stretch?
I think where it's got north, yeah. Yeah. That's good.
Good. So the wording on the next one is good, Sal? Short term?
Yeah.
And I can say the next one is good. Sucker wash, short term. Split Rock has some applications in the works, but that's okay because they fall under sucker wash. So maybe just leave that until there's actually something to report there.
I'd like to add another one to 5. So we could call it 5.4 is regarding recreation sites.
Ah, yes.
It's dearly needed here where we have improvements to our rec site infrastructure.
Okay,
Oh,
Jackie's back. Sal, you're just a blinding light now, the way that your window, the light changed there.
oh, sorry.
No, it's okay. And I agree with you. So we want something about the rec sites.
Where could we put it? It's under amenities. Could you go up a little bit, please? Patricia, just scroll up. Where were the trails? I've lost it. Just go to the left a bit, please.
The trails were right at the top, 5.1A. And do you want to add and rec sites? Or
Where it's got 5.2, just scroll down a bit more. Yeah, you could have 5.2B. Like add another one, yeah. I don't know how hard it is. Or you can do it later, but because it's going to take some time to do it. But I think we need to have improve Ministry of Forests, and that whole nomenclature that they
call
have.
it camping, we can just call it recreation sites, Sal, right?
Yeah.
Sites. And then as an action to meet with Flynn Rowe,
Exactly.
which is what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
And that would be short term. Is that all okay with you, Patricia?
Can I just get, sorry, excuse me. So we're adding under 5.2, so we're adding a 5.2 B.
B, yeah.
That would be the strategy description. What would that be?
Provincial recreation site infrastructure improvements.
Okay. Provincial rec site. Okay, and I got the rest of it, so I think I'm good.
Yeah.
Great. Thanks.
Sorry, what number, where are we at now?
We just moved to 5.3A.
Okay.
And I think we could add the Music Society to that group under actions. Miyazaki House, Halemore Heritage, Braylorn, did a little farmer's market. And it does say, and other cultural organizations, so that's fine. We have this as immediate. Okay. And next one. 5.3b, the other groups, the Naturalist Society, Invasive Species, Hospice, and so on. Immediate, good. Should we be leaving these, the lead organizations, SLRD, DOL? Okay. An important one to add here actually is volunteer, maybe under actions taken, although it's not us, but the Volunteer Connect is sort of pulling a lot of this together. That's under a program underneath the Lillooet Library. Do we want to make a comment about that?
You can put it under 5.3A and B. They can be, you can say coordinating organization called Volunteer Connect, supporting local or supporting regional not-for-profits.
Yeah, and that's a kind of an important one. Yeah. The next one is the Recreation Center in Lillooet, opportunities to work in partnership with others to improve the facility and amenities it offers residents. And we've already got the lights there. We have it as short term.
Looks good.
Okay. And the next one?
Yep, the next two look good.
Yeah.
Okay. That takes us to the end of 5. I want to talk to you guys about how we finish this. I really thought that we would finish this. I've thought that for the last 2 meetings. I know that the Zoom process, this whole process is painful and laborious and slow, and I'm really sorry that we can't just get together and have half a day and finish it.
We've been making good progress today though, Vivian, that's the thing.
We made some progress for sure, sure. And at least we're all working on the same pages and we're all here. I'm really sorry. Barb's not here, but Lori, I'm glad that you are. We could set a meeting to try and do the second half of this in December. We do have some room for a 6th meeting. If there's an appetite for that. What are your wishes?
Can I ask what's probably a stupid question, but what does finished look like? Is that we've just identified the timing, or we've actually put, like, is the timing the priority, or like we've just gone through and we've tweaked a few things from short term to long term, but are we also saying that of the immediate ones, these are the priorities? Is that what finished looks like? Or is immediate the priority? I'm just a little bit confused if the timing makes it the priority, or if we're also then going to go through and say, of these, which are the priorities? Because yeah, what does finished look like?
Can I pipe in here? I'll tell you my perspective is that we have all the timing complete. And if anyone has any objections, all the way along, my view of how this was going to go was that everyone was going to review the document independently, or as little groups or whatever, come back and say which sections, which timing, which lead organization we disagreed with, and then we'd all have a chance to discuss the changes we wanted and then get through the document. So it's been a lot more labor intensive, but the timing piece is that once it's sorted and we have the immediate ones, then we can check the lead organizations are correct and decide which immediate ones are going to move forward. And that the staff everywhere, depending, like with District of Lillooet and SLRD, has their say to say, okay, we've got a glut of short-term ones, or we have too many immediate, and what is doable, like capacity-wise, and that informs the committee. So that to me, finished is getting that timing piece done so we can sort this baby and look at the immediate ones and make sure those lead organizations are correct. I mean, all those action I hope that we can fulfill those too, but for now, that's what done looks like to me.
Are people following that? Are we comfortable with that approach? Because that makes sense to me. And it's a way to just choose what things we're going to do in the upcoming year. And it wasn't meant to take this long, but this is as long as it's taking. But people have to be comfortable. Yeah, Karen?
Well, I was going to ask, the other question is, okay, so if we get this with the priorities, and I think we did, because I know Sal and I a couple of meetings ago sat down and went through what we thought were the Area A priorities. And was that for the July meeting we brought that back, or the September meeting? I can't remember. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So great if we get to that point. But I guess the other thing concerns me is SLRD staff. Are you not in the process of planning your 2021 year? And if we haven't come back to you to say, hey, we think this is really important, how are you going to incorporate that into your 2021 going ahead business plan? Like, are we not missing the opportunity to say, these are the things that we think are important for staff, and then staff to say, well, we have time or we don't have time. So pick one, guys, or you know what I mean? Like, where are we in that process? Because I think that's really critical. We can make all the recommendations we want, but if staff doesn't have it in their business plan to work on in 2021, 2022, then our work is not going to be as relevant as we might have hoped.
Yeah, this is Sal. I think that's why when it was me and Vivian that created some of the columns added onto it. And that's why the team lead is critical. Who's going to be the team lead? And that's the process that me and you went through, and we did prioritize, the three things that we wanted the SLRD to lead. Because there's lots in here that, you know, I'm already doing, and I'm the team lead for Area A, and I have no issues with it. Like, you know, initiating that meeting with Jackie Taggart and stuff like that, and Clinrow with the early. I've got no issues with me being the lead on it. So the team lead, the percent completed piece, I mean, they're all relevant. And even some of the long, intermediate term and long term, some of those are actually being actioned also to a certain degree. So I know where Jackie's going, and that's fine, because then we're actually going to have, you can start doing all the sorting also. Then, you know, if I'm the team lead, I could sort by all the ones that I'm working on if I get the Excel file, and you know, et cetera, et cetera. So to me, I think let's get the timing over with. If we can add some extra meetings in there somehow, I don't know how, because you know, we have to have the staff as part of this also, which they've got time constraints also. It's a big document, but if we can narrow down what we're actually going to work on and find out where we're at with all the ones that we're supposed to be working on, then, you know, we can prioritize. This is a long-term plan that we're working on here. So, you know, we can't do it all, but what we do, we better be doing well.
Melanie, Kristen, comment?
Thank you. I would just say that I've pulled up our agenda planner while you guys have been talking, and we do have a lot of meetings in December already, and we have to have all of the committee minutes onto the agenda by the week before the board meeting. So I think the January date is more doable for staff if you guys can work with a January date.
Okay. I know, Jackie, that we could do this. Jackie, do you see any other way to get around the putting off to January? Like we can't just sort of get together and finish it. You know, it's like we've tried to work individually. I've certainly made my comments for what I need added for today, but players have come and gone and not been here. Like today, I feel we're at least working on the same pages and we've made some changes. We have brought forward what we did in the last two meetings. So we are making some progress, but we can't finish this today. So we're gonna have to put it forward again, I think.
No, I think that we've made progress, and it's all learning. It's learning because we've had to do this within COVID. And so, you know, for the first 2 or 3 meetings, we didn't have the screen sharing, which was putting a lot of extra time for staff to be able to take notes. And so anyways, I think that, you know, we're doing our best to get through this. And I share Karen's concerns, just that, but I also hear Sal that we're in this from the long haul, and we're going to get a really good document out of this. Like, I really feel positive about the fact that when this thing is finished, whatever that looks like, hopefully we'll have something in the timing that we can live with. We have a lead organization and a team lead. And then wherever there's actions being taken, we actually have those being filled out and updated as this document lives. So I think that if we just carry on and
Okay.
do what we need to do within the confines of staff time, and if anyone has any ideas about process, because last time when we were moving forward with the actions, each like district of Lillooet put theirs in, SLRDA put theirs. So we went through kind of and grouped it rather than going through line by line. But I think for timing, it might just be fine to continue line by line because it's been going fairly well. I don't know if you still want to do that with lead organization and team lead, or whether there's a more efficient way to do it. But, you know, so far, this is, at least in January, we should try to have a longer meeting so that we can get through the timing and then potentially get through lead organization and team lead. Does anyone have any suggestions about that? Because just, I think anything that we can do to put our heads together for process to make it, you know, as efficient as possible is always, more heads are better than one.
Okay. Oh. Sal, you're muted.
Sorry, yeah, I think if we have a 3-hour meeting for the next one, I'll commit to creating a draft for the color code for the percent complete column that we can review and confirm at the next meeting also.
You'll commit to working on the color coding,
Yeah,
and everybody else will commit to finish any tweaks in the next few sections that we have, sections 5 through 11, 12. Is everyone
we're-
on that?
I think we're on section 6 now. I think we got through section 5.
Thank you.
and
That's
I think,
50%. That's 50%, you guys. And there's a couple of the last ones, they're pretty short.
yeah, and there was a whole bunch there that were deleted. The agricultural group.
Agriculture deserves some discussion too. So we can plan, because we are no doubt using Zoom in January, that we can have a meeting from 9 till noon. We will take a break during those 3 hours. And the Thursday that comes up to me, if we look at the second Thursday now, Melanie, look at the calendar, please, just because I would guess that the EAD will fall on, will we put it off to the 13th, or, you know, maybe Kristen has a
I
better.
don't-
Sorry. It will depend on if there's any conferences on that last week of January that the board meeting would normally fall. So I haven't looked at that yet. So typically it's the fourth Wednesday of the month, and the following day, that's the board and the cow. And then the EAD is 2 weeks before that. But if there's any kind of conference on that the fourth Wednesday, then things get shifted a little bit.
Is it rash to plan for the 14th of January or the 7th?
The 14th, we have a PBIS meeting planned, scheduled already at 1 o'clock. But I think, subject to Melanie's thoughts on that, we could potentially do a 3-hour NETIC in the morning, and then they would give us an hour before the PBIS meeting at 1.
Yeah, I think we could make that work from a staff perspective. The one thing we would have to just be cognizant that we can't go into overtime, because we need to wrap up the one meeting, make sure it's no longer live streaming, get ready for the next meeting. We need that window.
How about if we scheduled 9 till 11:30? Does that solve any problems, or is it better to plan for the 7th? Or I'm really at your direction here.
The 7th is a bit problematic because then agendas are going out that previous week. And I'm not, I think our office is closed that week. So then agendas would be going out kind of the 21st, 22nd, if we're trying to get those out before the break. So
sorry, I'm sorry for interrupting. I was just thinking the agenda is dead simple, right?
Well, we'll be waiting for I think from what was said about Director DeMare doing some work, he would be completing that and then forwarding it to us to put on the agenda, sort of thing.
Right.
Yeah, I'm just kind of pointing out the timelines. Like if it's the 7th, then it's it backs that up into the previous week, and then again into December to get the agenda out.
So the 14th is better for that.
Yeah,
No one's having any problems with the 14th otherwise? Karen, Lori, Jackie, Barb's not here. She wouldn't be able to plan at this point. She's still hoping to have a surgery and keeps getting put off. So there's, one day is as bad as another for her at this point, I think. Okay. I'm not seeing anyone waving their hands or, let's do it. Let's do that then.
So
So
can we get a resolution for that, please?
a resolution to schedule the January NEDIC meeting for the 14th, Thursday, the 14th, from 9 until 11:30. Okay, is that feeling all right with people? Okay. The goal being to complete this review with starting with completing timing and prioritization and discussion of our actions in the upcoming and optimistic 2021.
Sorry, Chair. So that's timing, prioritization, and discussion of actions upcoming in 2021. Was that the motion?
Yes. Jackie,
I'd
do you
like, I
approve
would
that?
like to, I'd
Sorry.
like to, Jackie, did you want to talk or?
No, go ahead. I have another question after you're finished.
Yeah, I think to that motion that if we do the timing, that after we do the timing, sort by immediate and put team leads to them. And prioritize the ones that we're going to work on.
I really like that idea. I think that
Yeah.
we should finish the timing, sort it, and then look at the immediate lead organization and team leads. And then if we have time, continue on reviewing, going on to short-term lead organization and team lead, and then long-term lead organization and team lead. But for this next meeting, prioritize the immediate and discussing that. And can I ask a question at some point too? I just want to clarify the team lead, how do I think about that? Can you answer that, Sal?
Yeah, what I've done in the past is, so there's going to be a lead organization and there's going to be a team lead. That's the leader. But you can also have team members. So what I've done in the past is in that team lead column, I boldface the team lead and all the other members of that team are not boldfaced. And that's how you identify who the team lead is. So the team lead is the person, the lead organization is accountable. The team lead is responsible for making it happen.
Okay, so in the district of Lillooet, so if there's an example for that, then if there's something that's the district or the SLRD lead organization, the team lead could be you, could be Vivian, could be a staff member, is that the sort of idea?
Exactly.
Okay, thanks. I just wanted to get my head around that so that when I'm preparing for the meeting, then I'm going to think about that and make some suggestions.
Yeah. So I don't know, we need an amendment to that motion or,
I don't think my wording was great. Kristen, what do you have written down so that we have the date and the time for the meeting in January to complete the work on timing and then review the short-term priorities and make some decisions on our actions as a committee? Is that
the immediate timing, action items.
okay? So immediate, yes. So could you read it back? I'm sorry.
Oh, you want me to read it back? Okay, well, I have something like that the next meeting be January 14th from 9 a.m. till 11:30 a.m. with the committee to discuss timing and prioritization and immediate actions with a team lead and a lead organization listed or something like that.
That's not very well said. I didn't say it very well. Yeah.
I think that works.
Yeah, it does.
It
I
will
think
be
Lori's holding.
it will be a little more eloquent than that when you see it written.
Okay. Lori, you were holding your hand up. You just
Yeah,
pipe up.
I just need a bit of clarification because when Sal, you're saying a team lead, so we have the lead organization like the district, and then we have a team lead. I say Barb is going to do that initiative, but and we've got a long term, that's 2 to 5 years. We may not be here. Is it fair to put in a team lead for a long term? It's just a thought.
Yeah, all we're going to do is do the immediate ones. So hopefully you're still going to be around for a couple more years.
Oh, okay. So we're all right. I was
Yeah.
looking at it like immediate, short term, and the long term
No,
one for
no.
team lead for now. Okay, so we're just doing all right. Answers my question, and hopefully it will.
Yeah.
Kristen, you wanted to say something?
Thank you, Chair. I see it also as being it's not Director DeMare, it's the Area A Director. It's the Area B Director. It's the District of Lillooet Alternate Director sort of wording,
Excellent.
if that helps.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's good.
And Jackie, I think you were going to say something as well.
I'm just agreeing, nodding my head. That's perfect what Kristen said.
Okay.
Total sense.
Okay. So I think someone will have to second this motion. Sal, in favor, opposed, carried. And that's great. I'm really happy that we made some progress and we'll make some more in the future together. Now, if I look at the agenda, which I do have buried here. Item number 7 is director's reports, which is a way to, so for example, when Sal submits the color coding, will that come in as a separate director's report? Is that the way that it should happen here?
I think it could just come if that can be provided to us, and then it could be attached, similarly to how the direction request was put together on today's agenda. So as a staff report, as opposed to a director's report.
So will it be that it can just be incorporated into the draft when you receive it from Sal, and so that then we'll be looking at it with the agenda when we get it ahead of the, or does it have to be considered separately?
Well, we don't have a resolution that Director Demare is going to be doing that work, so we could have a resolution that he do that work and provide it to staff for inclusion on the agenda. I think we want to incorporate the changes discussed today. So we could kind of have a 2-point resolution that staff incorporate the changes discussed today and that Director Demare work on the percentages complete column and that be brought back into the January meeting, something like that.
See, that sounds really good. What do people think of that?
Yep.
So Sal's giving a thumbs up and Jackie's saying yes. So a resolution to that effect, that staff incorporate the changes that we've done today. And Sal Demare provide some extra color coding under the, which column is it?
Percentage completed.
H.
And that be brought back for our January meeting. A motion to that effect. We'll need a seconder. Sal, thank you. All in favor, opposed, carried. What else, you guys? Decision on late business. There isn't any late business, right? There isn't any setting the next meeting. We did that. We have the timing. Director's notice of motion. Okay, before we adjourn, is there anything else from anyone? Thank you. Okay, move to adjourn. 12:31. I appreciate you all working.